a lot of you look around, right? Let's get back to those checks. Okay then. Let's see. Zell sees good stuff. Juno's too busy debating the philosophical nature of the storm, or philosophical implications.
I cast Sleet Storm.
B is I'm gonna say B is probably in awe of the sight. I don't know how often she's made to the top of mountains before, specifically the tallest mountain around. Poppy
Probably never.
crit.
She's not
Diambu rolled decently. Okay, so Diambu, you see as you glance around, aside from just the general landscape of lay of the land and various landmarks here and there, behind you and up toward the top, you think you can see what looks like structures. Still a bit of a hike, but you're fairly certain you see something resembling a structure up at the top. At least you're fairly certain you can see the top. Zero and Poppy. Zero and Poppy. You guys see. Oh, hey, there's the valley you guys came from. But aside from that, and other fun little facts. I can see my house from here. Poppy can, because she crit.
Look, what do my eagle eyes see?
Your house.
There it is.
But in addition to this, well then, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at Juno's house. I'm a deadbeat.
Gosh.
I don't know if that is canon or really, but it is now.
I mean, this will make two characters of yours who live in the house of, or live in Vesper's house.
Live in the Faces character's house.
Oh, no.
So Lucas is rooming with Bao now.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
So
So what do we see?
Sorry, he's gonna dig a hole in her house.
you see that the path continues up straight without much trouble, and at the top you do see what appears to be a number of huts, and they all appear to be covered in thick They're all very nice little huts, small buildings, whatever else have you. They're in a half timber-ish style. I think that was the style that was used. And what is most striking is it appears everything up there is covered in a thick layer of ice. Also, where you are and up, as far as the mountain itself is relatively smooth. There's not a whole lot of rock outcroppings here and there. The snow is fairly deep, so going will be tough, but not hazardous. And that is basically what you see beyond just being on top of the world and seeing
I assume we don't see any people around.
No.
All right. I would like to try one of the doors.
So the group heads to the top of the mountain, I presume?
Yeah. I assume so.
Yes. All right, then.
When we get closer, do we see any signs of people?
When you get closer...
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
To summarize, there's Ice Shenanigans on Ice Mountain.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep.
As you...
Basically, it was everything, like, were there houses or something?
Yes, there are houses... There are small houses/huts at the top of the mountain, but they appear to be covered in a thick layer of ice.
Thick, okay.
And as you get up to the top, yeah, everything has a ton of ice on it, and you notice that some of the doors are frozen open, even partway open. Some of them are frozen shut, but most alarming of all, you see several reindeer standing about, frozen in position,
Oh no.
just
run.
completely covered head to antler to hoof in ice. And even near them, you see small little. Well, you guys probably don't know what ice sprites look like, but little ice sprites near them also coated in ice.
Does this ice look like the same type that we found the Longma frozen in?
No, this appears to be extraordinarily thick but natural ice. And judging by the positions all of them are in, well, some of them appear to be mid-stride. One is opening a door, and so on and so forth.
Oh, and me and Diambu can see this, right? Or are we
The party sees this as they get up to the top.
We've gotten up there now.
So whatever happened here happened suddenly.
Quickly.
Does seem a logical conclusion.
We should try melting one of them out. I mean, obviously.
We can do it, but I think they're dead.
Okay, in that case, let's save the fire and let's just break them out.
What do you mean save the fire? You're made of fire.
But, like, the special fire.
Oh, the special fire.
The good fire.
The good stuff.
The better vintages.
Okay, and we still haven't used the map yet, right?
Not yet, no.
Wait, use the what?
The map. It took me a minute to realize you're referring to Roll20, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
If we had a physical map telling us what way to go up the mountain, that sure would have been helpful.
Oh, there, it's over there, on the top of the mountain. How convenient.
Let me just check my inventory. Oh, hey, what's this?
Oh, it's buried under all the potions.
Can't
Dag
believe
nabbit,
it.
I knew you should have.
Would the heart of the mountain help in melting any of the ice?
Oh. Find
We
out.
could try it.
Now's a fine time to find out. I assume you place it near either a building or a person?
Just put it on top of a person.
I mean, we can
What
do
could
that.
go wrong?
It would get very smelly.
Are you going to? Oh, you can touch it. Like you can touch it and hold it. It
Yeah.
doesn't burn you. It just
Words
Have
away
to
the cold.
have been carrying it somehow.
I said the Poppy probably would have carried it because it's hot and she likes that.
So are you going to actually put it on top of one of them?
I don't think we
Oh,
need to
yeah.
put it on top of that. Just
He was like, hold it
close.
All right.
I put it on top of them.
Okay.
Puppy, no.
Puppy, no.
Okay,
Puppy,
fine,
why?
I would-
Puppy, please.
I wouldn't want it to stop touching me, so I guess I'll touch it to them.
There you go.
All right.
He hugs them with it.
Yes, yes, that's
don't.
the one.
It's
Gives
a
her
bot.
a warm hug.
It's a body. Don't hug that.
All right. The ice does start melting from the heart of the mountain, and it begins slowly going off, and it as the ice melts away from it, the coat underneath of the poor reindeer becomes visible as more and more of it begins melting away.
I give
And
it a
eventually-
healing hug. I cure light wounds.
Well, hold up a second.
No, it might be dead.
Yeah, wait for the description.
Well, it might. It
And,
might. I don't know.
As the ice melts away from the rest of the body, the skin is quite pale, but it jerks just a little bit as more and more of it thaws. And finally, the last bits of it melt away from its hooves, and it jerks a couple of times, rather stiffly, to put it mildly, and then its eyes sort of open. And it look-
The first thing it hears when it awakens is a unicorn muttering, "It's so soft."
And you guys notice a particular blankness to its eyes that you've seen before.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Are we gonna have to knock out a reindeer?
But it doesn't really do anything. It just sort of stands there, looking blankly off into the distance.
I'd like to make a medicine check to just check the overall health of them.
Go right ahead.
I suppose this is an improvement.
They're dead!
Perfectly fine. This is completely normal.
I'm just gonna stop
This
rolling.
is just how reindeer work.
This is what reindeer do, yeah.
How curious! Apparently, reindeer like to encase themselves in ice until they're ready to hatch like butterflies.
You know, they pupate.
It all makes sense now.
You interrupted their metamorphosis.
Now the mother will never take this one back.
Well, hug medicine.
You can't tell. You haven't met too many reindeer in your life, so
Even though
Well,
I know their language, apparently.
you haven't met too many reindeer that live on the top of a frozen mountain. So
That's fair.
you don't know what to look for in this situation. This is completely alien to you.
Do they
Does
respond
anyone-
to like
Can
anything?
be-
I mean,
Can-
attempts to push the reindeer over cause the reindeer to correct itself so it stays standing, but beyond that, there's no reaction
you
to
can't push it
external
over
stimuli.
anyway because Poppy is keeping it rigid in place.
Well, I was using that as a metaphor. Essentially,
Okay,
no.
as Poppy's hug is pulling it around, you notice it correcting slightly.
Yes, it attempts to keep itself righted, but beyond that, there's no overt reaction.
So we
Yeah.
should probably move them into a house or something, because this seems like not a good place to be.
Well, are there any houses
Brain
that
dead.
aren't frozen completely over?
Everything is covered in thick layers of ice.
Poppy would run off and hug every single other reindeer, but she's also carrying the only source of warmth, so she'd have to get consent from the rest of the party.
It's,
There we
it's,
go.
it's important to get consent before you.
Why can't I hug every reindeer?
I just want a little basket and a bow.
I mean, she's not going to get consent from the reindeer, but
Well, if they're all under the same sort of enchantment, I guess, as what we witnessed in Woshan, I don't think waking them all up yet would be a very good idea.
No, probably not. And I suppose if this one lasted this long in the cold, it wouldn't hurt for a few more hours.
Everyone knows that when you're frozen solid, you're basically stuck in a time capsule. That's how
Sure.
it works in real life.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
what else are we supposed to do with this reindeer, though? Like, we could try to put them into a house. That's all I got.
Yeah, they're really
It's probably slightly better inside a house than it is.
well. We'd need to
Outside
melt a
is
house
good.
first. How long would it take to melt a house?
We just need the door open, though. We don't need the whole.
Yeah, OC, can we go inside the houses, even if they're frozen?
I'll carry this reindeer with us.
The ones
New friend.
the ones whose doors are already open, yes.
I carry the reindeer on my back.
How about can we use the orb to melt the ice on the door of one with the shut door?
Yes.
I want to try that and see what it looks like inside.
I carry it. It's on my back.
All right.
You found a new improvised weapon.
Oh no!
I need one.
Something,
The
something,
inside.
something to replace your branch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the branch got burnt.
Well, yeah.
True.
Oh, yeah.
But we may need to in future. Now we have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So the inside of the nearest hut is very simple. It appears the reindeer live very simple lives up here. There isn't much by way of fancy adornment, nor is there a lot of glitz or glamour or whatever have you. It appears to be a bed, a table of some sort, a chair, or whatever would pass for ungulates. And then you see maybe a couple wall hangings and a few odds and ends. Perhaps you see there's like a small little toy off to the side.
My big question, though, is with the door shut, is it frozen in here too?
Yes, everything in here is covered in ice.
Oh, okay. Well, I got nothing then.
There's also a reindeer inside of here as well.
Are they
give it a hug.
encased or are they just kind of there?
They're also encased, although not as thickly.
I give it a
I feel
hug.
like- I feel like we should just leave the reindeer alone at this point.
Yes.
Well, you feel that.
I do feel. I think.
better
I think we should
go
solve the
find out who
problem.
is behind this.
I think we should solve the source of the problem
I
before we
mean,
come
no.
back and hug all the reindeer.
Yes.
But
fine.
it's so fluffy.
Hold on,
They'll-
hold on,
They'll wait
Hold on.
for us. We have a job to do.
hold on. What's up, B?
I said I think we should just go find who's behind this.
All right.
Then you can hug as many reindeer as we'll let you.
Okay.
Well, you guys have reached the peak of the mountain. There appears to be, again, several huts around here and a couple of what could be described as small buildings. But beyond that, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot else.
What kind of small buildings?
Probably the best way to describe it would be small one-story buildings. There's one over there that's like a story and a half-ish. Some of them look like they might be used more for storage. This one over here might be, it's a bit larger than the other ones, perhaps a gathering hall of some kind.
I say check the hall first.
Yeah. Ooh, before I forget, I cast aid on the party.
Alright, everyone 5 HP, maximum HP get.
Cool.
Because that's a thing that I always forget to do these things.
Not this time.
Ah.
And that modifies our current too, right?
Yes.
By 10?
5.
5.
5.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, your max and current HP increased by 5.
If I cast
Cool.
it at a higher level, it could be more, but I can't cast it at a higher level, so.
Man, 8 is such a nice buff compared to previous editions.
It's very
Although
handy.
losing that +1 to hit is unfortunate, but hey, extra 5 HP is
Well, you can get +1 to hit from a lot of sources.
indeed. So as you step in, you have to thaw the door, of course, but as you step
Yeah.
in,
We have
It-
tools.
it does appear to be sort of a hall, and it's a story and a half in that the backside appears to go up a bit to make something almost resembling, well, we would call it a stage, but perhaps more of a platform. And everything, including the floor, is covered in a thick layer of ice.
Is anyone on the platform?
Yes, there is a reindeer on the platform who appears to be looking at something that is on a nearby. That appears to be looking at something on the floor.
Are they frozen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go find out what they were looking at then.
It of course is covered in a thick layer of ice, but a quick little thaw fixes that problem. And it appears to be a book of sermons, as well with a few other margins written here and there. Whoever it is that owns this book appears to have not only been literate, but well capable of writing as well. And for the most part, they appear to be sermons praising praising Phonum itself, praising the great druid.
What language is this in?
This is all in reindeer, of course.
Okay. So
Yay, I
it
translate.
was B, right? Yeah.
No. I don't.
Is Juno.
Juno. Okay. Sorry. I forget.
Juno's
things.
reindeer for mysterious reasons.
Just not.
Juno,
Just
need
not the
some
mountain
help.
reindeer.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I was away for a second. What were we doing?
We found a
We're
thing.
reading.
They found a book.
Story time.
Frozen. They went into the somewhat larger building, and in the back they found a frozen reindeer who appeared to be reading something that was on the floor, and it turned out to be a book. And it appears to be a book of sermons, essentially praising nature, Phonum, the great druid, so on and so forth. And in the back, Juno spots something interesting. Apparently, whoever owned this jotted some concerns down in regards to one of the sermons, and this appears to be a sermon of protection. And the notes say roughly, should we invoke this prayer? Question mark. The others are concerned about those 4 who came and their small army of Fae. Period. We'll think about it. Period. Turning the page. Might invoke it if they leave Druid's Rest.
Thinking.
And the name Druid's Rest actually prompts an intelligence check from all of you.
Not a wisdom check.
Hush you.
Not a nature check?
Do I have something I could apply to this?
Nature would be applicable, yes. History
let's-
would be the most applicable check.
Yeah, but I don't have that.
21 nature.
I mean,
Sure, let's try it. Oh boy,
oh,
I know things today.
I guess I'll go with I guess I'll go with history since you got nature covered. Well, okay.
Wow.
I like the spread here.
Has not been good to you. That is unfortunate. Poor Diambu though. Sorry about that. All right. So
We're not a very intelligence-based party.
No, we're not.
What is a druid?
So, Poppy,
Yes.
you know of Druid's Rest. Supposedly, it's the place where the great druid was laid to rest after she died. It's a legendary place that supposedly no one's been sure where it is. Rumor has it that she died and was buried in a few different locations, but exactly who you ask, they'll usually tell you they either don't know or they will claim some faraway land. And if they're from some faraway land, they typically claim it's their land where the great druid was buried.
Mm-hmm.
That said,
I say
Xiao,
this excitedly. Wait, I say this excitedly to Atheus. Not to Juno. Well, I'll say it to Atheus later.
and overhearing this,
What's a religion check get me?
a religion check will get you what I will tell Xiao.
Oh boy.
And that
There you go.
is, upon hearing this, it jogs both your memories. And the druid circles know where the great druid was buried. They just intentionally don't tell people because they don't want people poking around the grave trying to, dig up the corpse
Of
or
course not,
desecrate it or
because
whatever
people
have you.
touch instead of look. Just look.
Stares at the Enbu.
To be fair, I have a story, but that's for later.
After the session.
So, the Druid's Rest is, she was laid to rest in the most inaccessible place available. The top of the mountain.
This mountain?
The tallest mountain around. So-
This mountain?
unless the nature of the island has drastically changed since the Great Druid lived, this would indeed be the place.
Okay.
And it's apparently watched over by a group of reindeer.
That said, so by logical deduction,
Unless they didn't know either.
by logical deduction, Juno, this is Druid's Rest is probably the place where the Great Druid was buried, and if it's mentioned in the notes, then these reindeer probably know where it is.
Unfortunately, they're unable to tell us right now.
Zhao!
Yo.
Yes, you actually know for a fact that it is here. Because in your adventures, you actually have come across one of the very, very few reindeer who've ever come down the mountain. Suffice to say, it's extraordinarily rare. And they after one particular day of being out in the wilds and hunting and whatever else have you, or I guess defending, not hunting, began talking a bit, perhaps after a few drinks, talking about their home and what it was like, and they described, you remember them describing that there was a cave not far from his village that they called Druid's Rest. He didn't know for sure if that was the place where the Druid was buried, but it was a holy place to them, a place that they went to on very special occasions, and to them was a sacred space. Apparently, it wasn't too far from their village, and it was just kind of a large cave you went into. Of course, he admitted it was a long time ago, and they'd been talking for a long time about moving the village closer to it. Although he kind of laughed and said that would be silly if they did.
Did you say why?
Would you have asked why?
Probably.
Fair enough.
I want to hear the story through to its conclusion.
He
Why would I
says,
have wanted-
he said something like, well, it's because it's obnoxious to travel crest the mountain every time you want to go do worship services. I mean, sure, the journey over there helps you put you in your mindset and all that jazz, but having it a lot closer would just be so much more convenient. Plus, he says the elders said it'd be easier to keep an eye on. Apparently, it's like their job to make sure it's safe or something. He didn't know. He admitted that he once went there when he was really young and he wasn't supposed to, and whoo, he got in trouble. Something sore. He tells you what. Still, he's got the scars to prove it. But beyond that, he sort of shrugs, and he thought all things seemed like, sure, being closer would be nice, but it seemed kind of silly to, deconstruct buildings just to move them to the top of a mountain when they were perfectly happy on the side of it. But whatever. Or they even had a nice cave to store stuff in. But whatever.
So I will relay to the party that. Actually, can I piece together where it is from that story?
Give me an intelligence check.
Oh no.
I'll even give you advantage
wait.
for it.
Advantage just means you'll get 2 ones.
Yeah.
Not always.
Wait, intelligence check, is that like the save, or is that just?
It's just your check.
Modifier.
D20 plus your modifier.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's. Yeah. Oh wait, no, I got advantage, right?
Yes.
Better.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a worthwhile roll.
You added 10.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thinking about it, huts. Well, first off, getting natural materials up to the top of a mountain is ridiculous to begin with, especially a mountain that doesn't really have a lot of natural resources to work with.
Okay.
Second off, he mentioned a cave for storage, and the cave you guys were in was well, it was a nice cave. And on top of that, building actual structures like this one on the top of a mountain would require an enormous amount of effort and resources to do so, which means there was a very special reason for them to have done so.
So wait, was it the cave we came in, or the cave we explored?
That's the only cave you really saw, any significant cave that you saw on your way up here. There were smaller ones that you came in and out of, but that's the only real, like, significant
It's
one.
the only major one. And are we on top of the mountain now, or is it?
Yes, you are. You're on top of its peak. And you mentioned, once or twice that going to the top of a mountain to go worship. And thinking about it, it's a little odd to have a platform, particularly in a permanent building, on the top of a mountain.
It's odd to have a platform. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what that sentence means.
Yes, because you're currently in a building,
Yes.
a permanent structure,
Mhm.
with a platform in it, which is weird to begin with.
Well, I mean, I'd imagine that'd be kind of normal for like an audience hall or something. Or there's situations, but so hang on. So you're telling me that the platform is out of place. Platform
Indeed.
doesn't make sense up here.
Indeed.
All right. I think we have to investigate this platform. And it's covered in ice right now, so we should probably melt that.
Yes.
Okay.
I hug the platform.
There we go.
As you begin melting the platform, towards the center and back of it, you discover, well, I doubt many of you have encountered trap doors before, but you do recognize what appears to be some sort of door in the platform.
Well, let's open it up.
And you see what appears to be an entrance down into a cave. And as you open it, you get the room fills with a rush of magic and just a sort of an emotion. And the very base of it, the smallest amounts of it, sort of fill you with a sense of reverence and awe. And there's some powerful magic in there. But the most powerful thing you come across is a horrible sense of desecration, and something has gone terribly wrong.
That's no good.
Well, I think we found our goal.
Is it a horrible stench of desecration?
A magic stench, yes. There's no actual smells per se that come from it,
Okay.
but,
Unless you can smell magic.
which all of you can feel this. None of you are safe from this horrible sensation.
But
It
does it
permeates to your bones.
But does it smell worse than Poppy?
I mean, if this was a physical, oh yes.
Okay. That's pretty bad.
Really just different when you get down to it.
Does the group go in?
Let's
Of
do this.
course.
I see no reason why not to. The only thing I'm going to do
Is
uh,
there anything that we should do to prepare beforehand?
I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace on the group.
Good. That means I won't
There
have
we go.
to. Why did I even prepare it?
Hey, it's good to have a backup plan. Or like a backup pass without trace.
That is good though.
All right.
Honestly, I was just going to roll stealth, so.
Yeah. Well, pass without trace will definitely help with that.
Indeed it will.
All right. So you guys head on in then.
Yep.
Yes. Stealthily.
All right. Give me some stealth
Stealthily.
checks.
Is my stealth bad? I don't think it's that bad.
What is,
Well, you
so
get a
pass-
plus 10, so it's going to be decent.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
Good gravy.
Plus 10 is huge in 5e.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, try and find me now.
We're all rolling high too. When you have a +10.
Well,
So
you
okay,
give
so
me-
that's
You give me the +10, and I have a 19 before I even.
all right. B, I'll need one from you as well.
I think B's the sneakiest of us all. Especially with that. Oh, she's got that cloak too. Hello?
B,
Oh no.
B.
Hello?
Necro,
It's happening again.
Oh no.
Necro.
Holy crap, he really is the sneakiest out of all of us.
Didn't even have to
My,
roll.
my God.
No, don't. Come on, we're don't force to like one more abbreviated session. I am not prepared for this.
Oh no.
Well, to
The
be
timing.
continued.
Nat 20'd.
This is only supposed to be 3 sessions long, and
Yeah.
well, I'd be tempted to be like, well, that's it, we're done. We're like,
We're leading up to the end, aren't we?
Necro, please.
It's nap time.
What?
Necro, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
So
Do I have him on? Do I have him on Steam? Can I book him through Steam?
No.
I don't see him on Steam.
because he's asleep. See, OC, this is what happens when you play games past people's bedtimes.
This is just the ultimate cliffhanger.
Everybody's snuck. Everybody stealthed super well. To be continued.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the door opened, like we feel the burst of raw magic come out. We all prepare and get ready to sneak in and fight our way out. To be continued.
Yeah,
The
it's
door-
perfect. Why would we not end here?
It disappears because they've raised the vote numbers.
I mean, to be fair, it is a pretty decent cliffhanger, and what I have planned next probably won't be an entire session unto itself, but it probably will need more time than we really have, per se.
Mm.
Especially since,
If it would take, honestly, if it would take more than an hour, maybe it makes sense to break them up.
alright, fine.
I mean, that's not what I want to do. That just kind of.
We'll go ahead and call session there. Well, I was going to say that. I was going to say, well, that was nature. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And then go back and unpin everything, clean up my mess, change all the names and everything.
I did enjoy it, and will continue to do so.
But no, not we're not done yet.
Your plans are foiled.
You've all managed to get one more almost session out of me.
What do you mean? What do you mean, you all? It was exactly one person.
Yeah, I suppose the session won't really run that long either, so...
Well,
Probably not.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty beefy combat I have in mind, but we'll see.
But it may not fill up an entire session's worth.
No, absolutely
So-
not.
Half session.
That is definitely not the intention for it to be a whole session. I've run session long combats. Heck, I've run like 4 to 6 hour long combats.
So
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's just one combat then. One long
Yeah.
combat.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long it's going to be. It's because surprise, surprise, it's the final battle. So
Yep. Spoilers.